morning. Yeah.
All this monitoring.
No kidding. You realize this could have stuck the whole. Yeah. Yep.
Please enjoy this Verizon ringback tone.
Hello.
Hey, Commissioner.
Hey.
It looks like it's the two of us.
Okay.
You ready?
I am.
All right. We'll wait for a button. There we go. All right. Welcome this morning. We will start the Board of Equalization meeting first. We'll have that meeting first before we move to the other Board of County Commissioners meeting. And we have myself, Commissioner Lee, and Commissioner Ivey on the phone. Commissioner Graves is not with us today. So with that, we have 6 items on our agenda. And the first one is to approve the Board of Equalization Assessors approved review process report. Any questions on that one?
I did not have any.
I don't either. I will suspend the rules so that I can motion since since we only have 2 members. Is there a motion?
I will go ahead then and I move that we approve regular agenda item number 1.
And I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Number 2 is to approve the Board of Equalization's approved assessor approved review process report. This is a different date. This is 11/19. Any questions to that one?
Nope.
All right, a motion to be in order.
I'll move that we approve regular agenda item number 2.
And I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Number 3 is to approve a Board of Equalization's hearing process report dated 11/19/2018. Any questions to that one?
Nope.
I didn't see any as well. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. Number 4 is to approve or deny a petition of the Board of Equalization's hearing appeal of property valuations. This one was there was a factual error in there. Bert, if you want to go ahead and.
Yeah, that's correct. Bert Harvey, Tax Administration. Yeah, this was brought to us by the Assessor's Office with the recommendation to correct a factual error. The property was classified in the wrong neighborhood, which incorrectly assessed at a higher value because it was, anyways, basically where it was at, it was being classed in the wrong type of neighborhood, which affected its value. So they'd like to correct that error.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll move that we approve the petition as stated in regular agenda item number 4.
And I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Number 5 is deny or approve a petition of the Board of Equalizations to hear an appeal of property valuation. This one has a sell, and then there's a property value in there, sell for $249,500, and then the value is at $270,000. Of course, they're asking for the Board of Equalization to hear the appeal.
Yeah. Looking at the, oh, I didn't print off my comments on this one. Anyways, yeah, they're not really giving us any reason within their petition as to why they were unable to make the filing deadline. Unfortunately, folks sometimes make the mistake of trying to argue why their value should be lowered in a petition without actually covering as to why they were unable to file the petition in a timely manner. This this petitioner has basically done the same thing. I can't tell as to why they weren't able to file the petition on time without any kind of other kind of evidential information. We have to make a recommendation to deny this one.
Okay, so this is just a petition for a hearing, right? On the
Yeah, this is just
valuation?
petition. Yeah, they're just asking for us to accept their hearing late.
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, whether or not, the question, whether or not the sale is actually at market, below market, or whatever, doesn't really address as to why they were unable to file their petition on time.
while
So,
they're late. Is
yeah.
there any other avenue for them,
Well,
to go through?
they can appeal this denial to the state tax commission. And if they, in doing so, they explain why they didn't file their petition on time, the state tax commission can reverse this and send it back to us. But in terms of getting their value looked at, no, there's not any, unless they're able to convince the state tax commission that they were unable to file on time. Most time, people just simply forget or they don't look at their notice or whatever. Like I said, I didn't see anything in here in this petition that met any kind of the tax commission's guidelines to apply for a late appeal. So, yeah, again, recommending denial on this one. But as always, it's up to the board. And if you feel it's better to go ahead and approve it, of course, we'll take a look at it.
The only concern I have with it is the actual sale of the property.
Right.
Or, you know, a purchase of the, and I don't know if it's accurate, I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea if the 249,500 is a, you know, market. But
Right.
typically, I think we would take that if there was a sale there as the market price, if it meets all the criteria. So it just bothers me a little bit that may be the case. And,
Right.
but I also, I don't know why you just file the documents too at the same
Well,
time, but.
they do. I only ever put the petition on there because we're not looking at all the evidence that they're filing for the appeal. We're looking at just the petition because that's, you know,
Right.
they've got to explain why they weren't able to file on time, based on I say guidelines. I mean, it's an administrative rule, so it's not quite as administrative rules are not quite the same as statutes, but they're not necessarily just policy guidelines. They're essentially, I don't know, they're binding. Okay, thank you. I'll go with Dave's interpretation of that. I like Dave's very much smarter than I am anyway, so I generally agree with him.
And my question would be, it's explained to them, if we deny this today, that they can appeal it. And
Yes,
that they would need to present more information or evidence to the state.
yes, that's correct. In the letter that's sent out that says that the petition has been denied, it informs them of their rights to appeal this decision to the state tax commission. And you know,
Okay,
we've had people appeal the decision, and they've been successful at state tax commission and come back and then we then hear their appeal later. I mean, of course, you know, they have to pay the taxes as charged, and if they are able to get their value lowered later on, then we have to do a refund. But I mean, at this point, that's going to happen anyway.
So they put down here, I've never received any property valuation notice after I bought the home. And I think your comments mentioned that it went out to the.
Okay.
To the 5-day, there was a 5-day thing, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay, thank you. And I apologize, I usually print off my comments so I know what I said. That's correct. In this particular case, they purchased the home after the valuation notices. I appreciate you reminding me of that. They purchased the home 5 days after the valuation notices were sent out. So in terms of timing, the county sent out the notice to the correct owner at the time the notices were printed and mailed out. So because this transaction took place after the valuation notices were already printed and mailed, and in fact, because the documents don't generally get worked, or generally take 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the backload the recorder's office is experiencing the time, you know, we wouldn't even had this person's information recorded in the system until many, many weeks after this point. So the first notice this particular homeowner would have gotten on their value would have been with the property tax notice in October, which is the typical
That's
process.
what they state, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, she's correct. She didn't get a valuation notice because she wasn't the owner at the time the valuation notices were mailed out. I mean, not just printed, but even they were out the door at the home of the old owner before this
Right.
person closed on their home. So, anyways,
Okay,
Given some of the timing, Bill, on this one for me, I almost would be inclined to approve this one just so we can hear the evidence to make a broader determination. That's the feel I have for this one. I don't know if you feel differently or
Well, you know
rather
what?
just send
It's
it to the
interesting
State
'cause
Tax Commission.
I started that direction, and, and with the timing going back and forth, it's just muddled, you know, I mean,
Right.
they're trying to find it, and then I kind of bounce back and forth where, you know, I mean, it's right in the middle of a sale of a property, and we're trying to send off these property values, and I think they're caught in the middle as well. I'm inclined to probably approve it as well,
all right.
Okay.
and move.
And again, this for clarification, for me on this one, it's a little muddled. It's the timing is really subject, and I would rather err on the side of the taxpayer in that particular instance and give them a chance to make their case. And for me, this is what we're doing. We're giving them a chance to make their case, and so I would tend to err that direction where I'm a little on the fence here. I would go ahead then and move that we actually approve regular agenda number 5.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
That passes with the approval of 2-0. Number 6 is to deny or approve a petition to the Board of Equalization for a hearing appeal, a property evaluation. Again, this one's quite different. They're all a little different in their own little way there. This one has a sale that fell through.
Right.
I personally didn't see anything in there that wouldn't allow for them to, even though that was going through to file their application. So what's your take on it?
Well, I mean, essentially, I have the same basic take. You know, when the deadline came and passed, they had made a determination that, that they made a determination that the county's value was fair. They were in the process of selling, the sale fell through, and at that point, they decided that they needed to appeal the value after the fact. It doesn't sound like there was a notice issue. It doesn't sound like they were unaware of what the property's value was with the county. It sounds like they became aware of the issues with their property after they tried to make a sale and the sale fell through. But part of what they're asking for is they think the county's value is still too high. And looking at the county's value, we are taking into account the factors that they stated in their petition about why their sale fell through. The fact the property is basically unbuildable. It's in that area that's a slide zone and, on the side of the mountain in Provo. And so, I mean, we're valuing the property based on those factors. So, I mean, there's not really that I can see from just, again, my initial look at what they're asking and what they're saying, that there's necessarily an issue with the value. And it doesn't sound like they really had, it doesn't really sound like they took advantage of the process and the time frame that is allowed by the statute. There's really nothing extraordinarily circumstantial about their situation that would say, okay, they, you know, unlike our last petition where, you know, they were kind of stuck in that middle timeline, these folks, seems like they were aware of the timelines, aware of the values, could have filed appeal on time and manner and just chose not to. So, yeah, again, recommendation of denial on this one.
Okay, I have the same mindset, so I move that we deny regular agenda item number 6.
And I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye. That passes 2-0. That takes care of all of our agenda items.
Thank you,
Motion to
Commissioners.
adjourn?
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. We'll adjourn from that meeting, and we'll take 1 second and move to the next. All right, welcome to our Board of County Commissioners meeting. Today we have myself and here at the Anchor location, and Commissioner Ivy is on the phone. Welcome. Good to have you here. As always, we start with a prayer, reading, or thought, and the Pledge of Allegiance, and we look at the audience to see if there's any individuals who'd like to participate with us and offer one of those. I've never said one or both, but one, maybe only, and then Somebody else can do the other. Any volunteers? Pledge, okay? Anybody willing to do the prayer? Oh, thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to gather this day in the processes of government and to sustain our Constitution and the leaders who have been elected to support and sustain our Constitution as well. We're grateful for the freedoms we enjoy here in this country, opportunity we have to participate in government, and pray for the blessings to be upon those who are in positions of leadership in government. They may be wise, particularly here in our county. Our commissioners will be able to have the knowledge and wisdom which they need in the decisions they must make. And pray for that guiding hand and influence always to go over our county and our wonderful country, and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your participation in that. We do have a number of items on consent and regular, and I actually thought possibly we might get through the whole thing, putting them all on consent, but anyway, we'll put everything on consent right now, and then pull them off. If there's any questions, to them, if you just come up to the microphone during the appropriate time to speak. On consent, do you have any, Commissioner Ivey, on consent that you'd like to pull off?
I do not have any questions on consent.
Okay. Moving to regular agenda. The only one that I think we need to talk about is number 3. If we could pull that one off. Other than that, is there any others you'd like to have pulled off?
Nope.
Okay. All right, then we'll have all those moved to consent, either to adopt, to ratify, to approve, or as stated in the agenda. And are there any questions or any comments to what we put on consent? Seeing none, then we'll move to regular agenda item number 3, which is to approve a form of application for the records protection. I know they've been working through this with a committee. We have 2 applications that have been presented. And I looked down through the applications to see the differences on them. They look pretty similar to me, except for just some wording back and forth. So, Robert.
Sure, Robert Moore, County Attorney's Office. I'm not sure why there's 2 applications, but the one that I uploaded yesterday is the one that my office has reviewed, and I have sent it yesterday to the committee members for a final look over. So I would request a continuance of today's matter, and so that the committee can review the final changes. Up until recently, the application was pretty much done. We were working on the instructions, and that's kind of what I was working on to try to make sure the instructions included all that needed to include. It still represented we did meet in September, and then got bogged down by some other matters. And so in October, I worked on it, and then I worked on some additional matters for the commission that prevented me from finishing it in October. So that's where we're at, but it is complete now, except for I'd like to have the committee have a final weigh in and say before we come before you with the recommendation that you approve it.
So I've got the 2 applications here that were uploaded. The one, I mean, there is differences in the applications themselves.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the first one came from. The original one that was uploaded, because I hadn't seen that one before.
This one, from my understanding, was looked at by the committee and voted on, and they were in favor of it.
Not that I'm aware of, because there was no application dated October 31st, 2018 by the committee. We met in September, and the committee did not meet and vote on any recommendation. And so that's why I made the changes yesterday, finished the changes yesterday, submitted it to the committee, and that's why I'd like for the committee to have an opportunity to review it, so we can make a recommendation to the county commission.
Okay.
All right. So maybe we could, if we put it off for a week, though, that's not gonna be enough time, because everyone's gonna be gone.
If you want to do it 2 weeks, it's fine. I honestly, I don't think if there's other changes that are recommended, we'll put them in there and we'll submit the revised version. I think we're really close, honestly.
So do you feel a week is enough time then, or do you want 2 weeks?
Well, it depends on if the committee members are in town this week or not, and have had a chance to look at it. I don't know if they have. I just sent it to them yesterday. I told them in the email that I sent them that I was going to request a continuance to allow them to look at it. Because, again,
I'm one of the committee members, and because of all the stuff going on with the elections, I've not had a chance to look at these yet. I think it'd be best if the committee was able to meet again and consider the two and make one out of the two.
yeah, and so in my email, I also said that I'm happy to sit down and meet again as a committee.
Who else is on the committee, just for reference?
We have Bert Harvey, we have Neil Peterson was on it, and Sandy Hoffman, and Scott. Was there anyone else? Oh, yeah, and Alan. Not Ann Allen,
Andrew?
Andrea Allen. Andrea Allen, yes. Got me on the spot up here.
Okay.
So,
All right, so.
and myself.
So is a week gonna be enough? I guess that's the question.
If we're gonna meet, no. Yeah, I think you'd want to give us 2 weeks then. Thank you.
Okay?
Okay, I would go ahead then and move that we continue regular agenda item number 3 for 2 weeks.
All right, and I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That'll be continued for 2 weeks. All right, so with our closed meetings, we need number 5, 7, 8. We can strike number
Move that we
6.
strike regular agenda item number 6.
Oh, okay, well, we probably ought to do 6 as well then.
No, well,
Let's
just
do 'em
kidding,
all.
man. I won't move that. All right, I'll move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss the purchase, exchange, or lease of real property, water rights, or water shares for today's date at this location following the completion of the regular agenda.
And I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes
I'll move that we
2-0.
approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss the sale of real property, water rights, or water shares previously publicly noticed for sale for today's date at this location following the completion of the regular agenda.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0.
I'll move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting to discuss the character, professional competence, or physical or mental health of an individual or individuals for today's date at this location following the completion of the regular agenda.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0.
Move that we approve and set a date, time, and location for a closed meeting for a strategy session to discuss pending or reasonably intimate litigation for today's date at this location following the completion of the regular agenda.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 2-0. There are no work sessions. Are there any public comments? All right, seeing none. Thank you for being here. We'll move into our closed meetings.